The annual Thompson family dinner was in full swing at my parents' country club. My sister Rebecca was holding court, detailing her latest promotion at Goldman Sachs while our parents beamed with pride. I sat quietly, picking at my salad, waiting for the inevitable turn of conversation. "And Sarah," Mom's voice dripped with disappointment, "are you still doing that online thing?" I suppressed a smile, thinking about the empire I'd built while they thought I was just blogging. Sterling Technologies, my company, had revolutionized financial software, though my family still thought I was running some kind of lifestyle website. His mom. "Still working on my projects." "Projects?" Rebecca snorted into her champagne. "Is that what we're calling Instagram posts now?" Dad cleared his throat, setting down his fork with that familiar look of parental intervention. "Sarah, your mother and I have been talking. You're 32 now and this hobby of yours isn't leading anywhere." My phone buzzed quietly, a notification from my CFO. "Acquisition of Morgan Financial complete. Company value now exceeds $500 million. We've decided," Mom continued, "that it's time for tough love. No more support. No more living in the guest house. It's time you got a real job like your sister." I glanced at Rebecca, who was practically glowing with smugness. If they only knew that Sterling Technologies had developed the trading algorithm her department at Goldman used every day. "I understand," I said calmly, opening my laptop. "Before you continue though, maybe you should see something." "Sarah," Dad's voice held that warning tone, "this isn't the time for your internet stories." I turned the screen toward them, displaying Sterling Technologies' financial dashboard. "Actually, it's the perfect time. See that number at the top? That's my company's current valuation." Mom's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. Rebecca leaned forward, her designer glasses slipping down her nose. That's not possible," she stammered. "That's $500 million. $512 million actually," I corrected. "Though it fluctuates hourly. The Morgan Financial acquisition just completed." Dad's face had gone pale. "Morgan Financial? But that's one of the largest financial software companies in the country." I smiled. "Now it's a subsidiary of Sterling Technologies. My company." "Your blog is worth $500 million? Mom's voice had risen an octave. "Mom, I don't have a blog. I run a financial technology company that develops trading algorithms and banking software. That online thing you've been dismissing? It powers half the transactions on Wall Street." My phone buzzed again. Another message from my CFO. Goldman Sachs requesting urgent meeting about algorithm licensing. I glanced at Rebecca, wondering if she knew her department's success relied on my technology. "In fact, Rebecca, how's that new trading platform working out? The one your team started using last quarter?" Her face went from smug to shocked as realization dawned. "Sterling, that's you?" "Yes, that's me," I confirmed, pulling up more data on my laptop. Sterling Technologies provides the backbone for most major financial institutions' trading platforms, including Goldman Sachs. The country club's dining room suddenly felt very small as my family processed this information. Mom's perfectly maintained composure cracked like thin ice. But you live in our guest house," she whispered. "Actually," I smiled, "I own the penthouse at the Alexandria. I named the city's most exclusive residential building. I kept the guest house for appearances while I built my company. It was enlightening to see how you treated me when you thought I was struggling." Rebecca was frantically scrolling through her phone, probably looking up Sterling Technologies. "This can't be right. You're saying you're my company's biggest software vendor." "Vendor, partner, and soon-to-be majority shareholder," I corrected, watching her face pale. "That urgent meeting your department requested this morning? It's because we're acquiring a controlling interest in your division." Dad's financial advisor training kicked in. $500 million. How did you, when did? "Remember that small inheritance from Grandma 5 years ago?" I asked. "The one you all told me not to waste on my internet startup? I turned that $100,000 into an empire while you were all busy dismissing me as a failure." My phone lit up with another notification. Goldman Sachs stock dropping on acquisition rumors. Your stake now worth $600 million. Mom reached for her wine glass with trembling hands. "The charity gala last month, when you said you couldn't afford a ticket. I was the anonymous donor who funded the entire event. I finished for her. Through my charitable foundation. I wanted to see if you'd invite me anyway. You didn't. Rebecca's smugness had completely evaporated. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me? I asked quietly. Every family dinner for the past 5 years has been an exercise in condescension. Get a real job, Sarah. Stop playing on the internet, Sarah. Be more like your sister, Sarah. I turned my laptop to show them Sterling's organizational chart. While you were mocking my online thing, I built a company that employs over 500 people. We have offices in 12 countries. That algorithm your team uses, Rebecca? I wrote the original code myself. But your clothes. Mom gestured weakly at my simple outfit. Your car. Are chosen specifically to maintain my privacy, I explained. Success doesn't need to be advertised. Though if you'd ever actually visited my tiny apartment downtown, you might have noticed it occupies the entire top floor of my company's headquarters. The silence at our table was deafening. Around us, the country club's usual dinner crowd continued their conversations, unaware of the earthquake happening at the Thompson table. Miss Sterling, a waiter approached nervously. The club manager would like to know if everything is satisfactory with your usual table. Your usual table? Dad's eyebrows shot up. Yes, Mr. Thompson, the waiter continued. Your daughter owns a controlling interest in the club. We normally reserve her private dining room, but she requested the main room tonight. I waved the waiter away, enjoying the stunned expressions on my family's faces. I acquired the club last year when it was facing bankruptcy. Though I kept that quiet since you all love telling people you're founding members. All this time, Mom whispered, when we were worried about you wasting your life. You were too busy judging to notice what I was building. I pulled up more documents on my laptop. Would you like to see what else you've missed? The tech incubator I founded? The venture capital fund? The real estate portfolio? Rebecca found her voice. The Goldman acquisition. You're really buying my division? Already bought it, I corrected, showing her the confirmation that had just come through. The announcement goes out tomorrow morning. Congratulations, by the way, you now work for your little sister. Dad's financial advisor instincts finally kicked in fully. Sarah, honey, perhaps we should discuss some investment opportunities. I have clients who would be very interested in. Stop, I held up my hand. 5 years ago, you told me no legitimate investor would touch my internet scheme. Now you want to discuss opportunities? After trying to cut me off. Mom reached across the table. Sweetheart, we were just worried about you. Living in the guest house, driving that old car. That old car is a vintage Porsche worth more than your house, I interrupted. The guest house charade was my choice. I wanted to see who my family really was, how you treated someone you thought was struggling. I pulled up another screen showing my personal net worth separate from the company valuation. The number made Rebecca choke on her wine. That's more than our entire family fortune, she gasped. Many times more, I confirmed. Which makes this conversation about cutting me off rather ironic, don't you think? Just then my actual phone, not the basic model they were familiar with, lit up with an urgent message from my executive team. I held up a finger to pause the family drama. Yes. I answered, putting it on speaker deliberately. Miss Sterling, Goldman Sachs, is requesting an emergency board meeting. Their CEO would like to discuss the acquisition terms personally. Push it to tomorrow, I replied, watching Rebecca's face as she realized how far up the corporate ladder I reached. I'm having an enlightening family dinner. Very good. Also, the Alexandria penthouse renovations are complete. Would you like to schedule the housewarming? Perfect timing, I smiled. Please send cars for my family tomorrow evening. I think it's time they saw how their struggling daughter really lives. After ending the call, I turned back to my stunned relatives. So, about cutting me off. Sarah, Dad began, but I held up my hand. Let me finish. For 5 years I've watched you all make assumptions about my life. You saw what you expected to see. The disappointing daughter who couldn't get a real job. Meanwhile, I built something extraordinary. I stood up, smoothing my deliberately modest dress. Tomorrow evening you're all invited to my actual home. Not the guest house but my penthouse. It's time you saw the truth. But Sunday dinner. Mom started weakly. We'll be at my place from now on, I finished. though you might find the view rather different from what you're used to. Rebecca was still staring at her phone, probably watching her company's stock price react to the acquisition rumors. You're really my boss now? Technically, I'm your boss's boss, I corrected. Though don't worry, I won't fire you. In fact, I'm promoting you to head of client relations. You're good at that part. It's the technical side you've been struggling with. How did you know I was struggling? She asked. Because I designed the system you use, I reminded her. I get detailed analytics on every user, including my sister. Dad cleared his throat. About the guest house. Keep it, I smiled. Consider it a reminder of how appearances can be deceiving. Though you might want to check who actually owns your mortgage. Their faces showed dawning horror as they realized just how far my influence reached. The country club membership, Mom said suddenly. Our house. Rebecca's condo. All under the umbrella of Sterling Properties, yes. I gathered my things. My real estate division has been quite active locally. Did you never wonder why your refinancing was approved so easily last year? As I prepared to leave, I turned back one last time. Oh, and Mom? About cutting me off from family support? I think I'll manage. Though you might want to consider who's been secretly supporting whom. The next evening, as my family stepped into my 10,000 square foot penthouse with its panoramic city views, I watched their faces register the full scope of what they'd missed. The art collection worth millions, the technology that made their smart homes look primitive, the staff that managed my daily life. This is how you really live. Mom whispered, taking in the private helicopter pad visible through the floor-to-ceiling windows. This is how I've lived for the past 3 years, I corrected. While you were all worrying about my future, I was building it. The guest house was just a social experiment, one that taught me exactly who my family was when they thought I had nothing. Rebecca wandered over to my home office, where multiple screens displayed real-time data from global markets. Are those all your companies? Just the public ones, I said. The private portfolio is considerably larger. Dad stood in front of a wall of awards and press clippings, coverage I'd kept hidden from them until now. Technology CEO of the Year. 40 under 40. Most influential women in finance. I had them hung yesterday, I admitted. They usually stay in storage. Success doesn't need to be displayed when you're actually successful. As my staff served dinner on my private terrace, with the city glittering below us, I watched my family struggle to reconcile their previous image of me with reality. The foundation that funded Rebecca's hospital wing last year, Mom said suddenly. That was you, wasn't it? Anonymous donations are only anonymous if you don't talk about them, I replied. But yes, that was me. Just like the scholarship fund at Dad's alma mater and the new cancer research center bearing Mom's maiden name. All this time, Rebecca shook her head, we thought we were the successful ones. Success isn't about appearing successful, I told them. It's about building something meaningful while everyone else is busy showing off. As they left that evening, thoroughly humbled, Dad turned back. We were wrong about you. All these years. Yes, you were, I agreed. But now you have a choice. You can either be the family who tried to cut off their secretly successful daughter, or you can be the family who finally learns to look past appearances. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't showing people what they missed. It's showing them what they could still be part of, if they learn to see clearly.